JBN, we keep you informed. 6 shot, 1 fatally in drive-by of Walton Park Road in St. Andrew. A woman is now dead and 5 other persons, including a 1-year-old baby, have been left nursing injuries following a drive-by shooting that was carried out by gunmen on Boynes Lane off Walton Park Road in St. Andrew on Thursday. The deceased has been identified as Nefertiti Roach, otherwise called Nancy, a resident of Coburn Gardens, Kingston. Reports are that about 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, a group of persons were standing in a section of the mentioned community when men in a motor vehicle drove up and opened fire on the group of bystanders. The men then sped from the scene. The police were called, and the 6 people were found suffering from gunshot wounds. They were rushed to the hospital, where the female died while receiving treatment. The other 5 persons were admitted for treatment. A state of emergency SOE has been in place in the St. Andrew South Police Division, where Boynes Lane is located. Last year around this time, 4 persons were shot, 1 fatally, in an attack that was carried out by gunmen in the area. A teenager who was killed in that incident was identified as 14-year-old Shani Clark of Linders Road, St. Andrew. Manhunt on as killers ambush gas station operator. The Westmoreland police chief has vowed to hunt down the killers of a popular service station operator on Wednesday night and has deployed a strong detachment of officers in White House. The deceased has been identified as 54-year-old Sean Thompson. Reports by the White House police are that shortly after 10 p.m., Thompson had just closed his business before heading home in the upscale housing scheme at South Sea Park, also in the community. He drove into his yard, parked his vehicle, and went to his house, but turned back after realizing he had forgotten to close his gate. Thompson was pounced upon by armed men who robbed him of cash before shooting him. He was pronounced dead at the Savlamar Hospital. Commanding officer in charge of Westmoreland, Superintendent Robert Gordon, said that they theorized that the motive was robbery. I myself have visited the home of the deceased and lent my sympathies to the family in their time of grief. I have also assured them that we will be doing everything in our power to bring those responsible to justice, Gordon said. Thompson is the 3rd person to be murdered in the parish of Westmoreland since the start of the year. Following his death on Wednesday, the Joint Security Forces working under the state of public emergency in the parish have beefed up personnel at checkpoints and increased patrols. Man charged with bribing police after a traffic stop. Lawmen on Wednesday charged 26-year-old Indian national Rahul Narwani with bribery and breaches of the Road Traffic Act on Dumfries Avenue in St. Andrew. According to the police, lawmen were conducting an operation about 5:30 p.m. when they signaled Narwani, who was driving a Mercedes-Benz, to stop. He complied, and a close examination of the vehicle revealed that it was unlicensed and was driving without insurance and a valid certificate of fitness. Upon being notified of these offences, Narwani, who is of a Kingston 5 address, reportedly offered the police all the cash in his possession and another $78,000. He was subsequently arrested and his vehicle seized. He is scheduled to appear before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Thursday, January 16. Suspected suicide in Jericho, Hanover. The Hanover police are probing the circumstances surrounding the death of a man whose body was found in a house in Jericho District, Hanover, on Wednesday, January 8. Dead is 32-year-old Ennis McCallum, otherwise called Nikos and Pang, an electrician of Jericho District in the parish. Reports from the Lucy police are that relatives stumbled upon the body about 8 a.m. and alerted them. On their arrival, the body was seen hanging from the ceiling by a sheet that was tied to its neck. Arson hit Portland family to get reprieve from rain. Since his home was ravaged by fire more than a year ago, 63-year-old Devon Montague has slept virtually with one eye nervously open with the sky as the roof for his family. Sometimes on cold and rainy nights, they were soaked to the bone. But Tuesday's groundbreaking ceremony for a new home in Anchovy has offered a silver lining in rain clouds he once viewed with trepidation. Montague, who not only lost his house in November 2018 as a result of arson, is thrilled at the prospect of singing Home Sweet Home in another 2 months. Me glad for the help, as it was rough to sleep in different places every night, said Montague. Very soon me and the family can enjoy our own space indoors. No more sleeping on the floor having to wonder when it will rain, he added, offering thanks to the Minister of Local Government, Desmond McKenzie, and the Portland Municipal Corporation. The family of 5, including an 11-year-old, had been forced to sleep on the floors and corridors of banks and other business places in Port Antonio. The government has overshot its target in building 27 such homes, 7 more than initially planned for emergency needs cases, said McKenzie, who also has oversight for community development. St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland have been earmarked for an additional 4 houses, with groundbreaking ceremonies projected by March 31, the end of the financial year. This is just a drop in the bucket when you consider the needs that are there, but all it takes is one step at a time. One step at a time. I know the demands out there are great, McKenzie said. The total spend on Montague's house, as well as for another unit in the Long Road area, has been tagged at $4.6 million. The new units will be retrofitted with beds, electrical appliances, stoves, and furniture. Portland Eastern Member of Parliament Anne-Marie Vance, who earlier had given a commitment to the family to offer them help, lauded McKenzie for the quick response to Montague's dire circumstances. A home represents more than a shelter. Home is where the heart is, said Vance. It is the place that you feel most comfortable. I am so happy that another 2 people are off the homeless list. Is Damon Crawford's political aspiration over? Uncertainty looms over the political future of People's National Party, PNP Vice President Damon Crawford, heading into the next general election, but campaign director Philip Paulwell says the party is working to heal a new fracture. Crawford yesterday confirmed that he has been wanting to step out of the People's National Party's shadow cabinet because he has taken a financial hit since returning to representational politics. The PNP politician lost a by-election last April against the Jamaica Labour Party's Anne-Marie Vance to represent Portland Eastern. His move to withdraw from the shadow cabinet coincides with the recall of Dr. Dayton Campbell, the pinch hitter of Peter Bunting's failed bid to wrest power of the 81-year-old party from President Dr. Peter Phillips. Paulwell has confirmed that there is also uncertainty surrounding whether Crawford will be on the party's ticket in Portland Eastern for a second time. That Damon Crawford issue is not settled. It is not easy for a young person to be in the cut and the thrust of day-to-day politics. It is draining on day-to-day resources. We understand Damon's situation, but we are working with him on the issues, Paulwell said yesterday. His comments contrast, however, with Crawford's revelation to RGR talk show host Emily Shields yesterday afternoon that he had thrown in the towel with Portland Eastern because the hustings had sapped his money and passion. Since his bruising defeat, Crawford's name has been called in a number of other constituencies, most notably Southeast St. Catherine, where fellow comrade Colin Fagan is the incumbent. Fagan, a longtime PNP organizer who rose up the ranks to become Member of Parliament, had backed Peter Bunting over Dr. Peter Phillips in the September leadership race and has been fighting internal battles to hold on to the constituency. His critics argue that his support has waned badly. However, we learned yesterday that Fagan has been confirmed to run again on the party's ticket for the constituency. Colin Fagan is your candidate. That is settled. He is going to win. We are very confident that he is going to retain the seat, the PNP's national campaign director said, acknowledging previous concerns. Paulwell said that the PNP will be having a leadership retreat with all its candidates this weekend as the party shifts gears. We are going to be meeting with all our candidates this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, during which time we are going to have in-depth discussions with them on the organization in their constituency. Paulwell disclosed yesterday that the party would be rolling out a new messaging platform after this weekend's retreat. We are going to ensure that our bloggers and the party central are in better sync in terms of our messaging, and we are going to be a lot more proactive with respect to the issues as they occur, Paulwell said yesterday, emphasizing that the PNP will be seeking to reach the youth voters. There is a marketing push that will be quite aggressive, Paul Wells said. The PNP campaign team has recruited former Member of Parliament Raymond Price to lead the party's communication strategy for the election. In the meantime, Paul Wells said the party has moved to reach out to contributors as the temperature heats up, with a general election constitutionally due in 2021. Many want to wait to see when the actual date is. We are going to be fine. We never spend as much as the JLP, but what we'll get will be used to ensure that we are going to be competitive in all the areas where we need to win, he said. Since we have settled the leadership issue, and certainly in recent times, when there is a clear showing that we are coming back together as one party, people have become far more responsive. People are definitely responding now, Paul Wells asserted. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.